G'day guys, welcome back to Factorio episode 2. Off camera I did some work. I built up the rest of this furnace array here and I completed another one, and this is what we're going to use for copper, so we can get some copper manufacturing going. Now in this episode I want to research some automations and start to begin our manufacturing process, and hopefully we can get red science automated. And then I also want to get done some defense. So without further ado, let us begin. Pretty good. Now I'll just quickly demonstrate how the how this smelting array works at the moment. So what I've got is the coal line running underneath the iron and coming up through there in front of these. And what it does is it splits off here, and we've got one side going up this way and the other side going down this way from the splitter. And the same thing's happening here with this iron, so it's coming in and being split. And what this does is it side loads the belt and splits it both ways. So that way you don't need to have a sort of convoluted method of mixing them together beforehand. This makes it much easier and much more streamlined, if that makes sense. So that's good. Now, what we want to do while we wait for automation to be done is do a similar thing with copper. I'll just make some more transport belts while we wait. Let's see. Move them. Probably want to take it up because we don't need any of that stuff here. I'll just get rid of all this. Alrighty, so I got rid of the little furnace array that we had built here, this little miniature thing, and in the meantime it looks like automation has finished researching, which is really good. So what this unlocks is the ability to create automation machines or assembling machines, which are really one of the most essential components of overdoing anything in Factorio. Let's see, what else do we want to research? I think electronics, not right now, I think. I think what we want to do is probably a military, so we can get some more effective personal weaponry. So I'll just do that. We don't have any automated research right now, but I'll put that one in the queue, so that's good. And then what we can do is we can come over here and move this up here. So leave some gaps so we can run that coal line. I'm pretty sure what I'll do is I'll have a separate coal line running into the iron arrays that we'll have down here, and then a separate one for the copper. However, right now, because we're only really going to be using these two for a bit until we get train stations and etc. sorted out, I'm pretty sure we can just have the one line running all the way up. But there is room for change in the future, which is good. So awesome. So we'll run those two there. I probably want to make some more electric mining drills as well, which is good. So we can run all of that there, and we can start tapping much more into this iron process as well. So we'll just quickly, what I will do is I'll split this off and run it up here. Like so. We're going to move the this temporarily. Wonderful. And again, I'll just go over how these work. Oh, or not, hang on, what's going on over here? Oh no, false alarm maybe? No, where are they attacking? Where is that? Fuck. Whoa, 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 shit, oh no. See, this is why we need some defenses, because this pistol is useless against them, and they've just taken all of our shit. Shit. This is bad. Oh, turrets. Lure them for the turrets. Alright, cool. See, oh, there's another one. Turrets are infinitely more effective at dealing with them, except that's not good. And we'll need another turret. What do we need for them? That's going to be iron and copper, so I can just grab some iron from these furnaces over here, and that's good. I'll make a few more of them and some more ammunition here. Whilst I'm at it, I need 15 red science for that. I can only make one. I'll grab some more iron, I think. Broken something. These have been broken. Alright, that's wonderful. So right now, I think, honestly, 2 generators will sustain us for now, so that's okay. We don't have to worry about fixing those just yet, but I'll queue some of those up anyway. Fix you up. Some ammunition. That's cool. All right. So that was a bit of a rude interruption there. Notice the corpses. I'll just put a turret down here to protect these guys. And I'll explain what I've done. Now, what I've done here, I've just gone and... what's going on there? There's no fuel. Because they destroyed this whole line. Oh my goodness me. So I just explained what I've done here. I put some automatic miners on the coal, so they'll be mining that. And what this splitter down here does is it has a priority. Change that one over. A priority on the right, so from our left. And essentially what that means is it will prioritize splitting or outputting all of this line on the left-hand side here, which means that it will be prioritizing power, which at the moment, because we don't have many boilers, isn't using that much coal, so that's fine. But in the future, we'll need to scale up. However, the whole idea is that power is prioritized over production, so that's what I'm aiming for. But that might change in the future. So, yes. Alright, absolutely fantastic. Had a bit of a run-in with some biters, so I've just put another turret down. But I get the feeling that these turrets are going to very quickly become obsolete. So I really want to get working on some more research and some more automation. So now that we have some lines of copper and iron, we can get to work on making the main bus and how that's going to work. Now, essentially, what a main bus is a component of the factory where you have all of your primary resources that you use, and they're all in one centralized location that you can access easily. So, for example, I've got all of my iron's going to be down there and my copper up here. So I'm going to say, well, I'll put, and I'll leave some space. It's important to leave space. I'll put some iron on this belt and then copper on here. And what that does, say we've got all these belts going this way, and then we'll have factories and production lines to the north and the south that will be taking resources from these belts and using them as they please. So it's a very efficient sort of method of organizing your production lines. Now, as you can see, we're aiming to have 4 smelter arrays, furnace arrays. So we've got 4 belts. So that's sort of what we're going to do now. We're going to connect up these belts, just like that. There's one. And then try and make it look kind of symmetrical and nice. And there's 2 there. Now, the reason why we have a space in the middle is because that's the distance of an underground belt here. So that's just, if I want to say, I want to take iron off of the belt and bring it up north, I can just do that. And this way we can have iron, coming off of that belt. Now, I don't want to do it just yet. I don't want to do that just there, because I want to sort of plan this space out a bit more. I might do it over here, leaving some room. But in the meantime, military science has finished, so that's good. As you can see, we're going to get some more weaponry. And what I probably want to research now is going to be probably damage. Damage is probably going to be pretty important, especially as biters start to scale up. As you can see, we've got lots of pollution being produced, which is going to mean lots of biters, and they will start to get more and more difficult. Now, as you can see, Submachine Gun is something we've unlocked, so we'll just go and make that now. And the shotgun, I honestly don't use very much, so I probably won't bother with that one. But yeah, so this one's going to be, substantially better than the pistol, as I'll show you now. Just come over this rock. So yeah, much faster firing speed, and that's very good. Now, automating red science. So first things first, what I want to do is set a goal of 1 science every second, which is 60 science every minute, right? Now, if we come over to these assembling machines, I'll make a few because we need a few. Okay, so I'll just quickly run you through the maths behind how this assembling line is going to work for these red science packs here. So essentially, as we come up to this assembler here, we notice that it has a crafting speed of 0.5. And essentially, that's a multiplier that applies to the time taken to craft each recipe. So for example, this automation science pack here uses 1 copper plate and 1 iron gear wheel across 5 seconds to make 1 automation science pack. Now, when we do the maths, this means that provided we're using it at the exact recipe, we would say the number of assemblers divided by how long it's going to take to craft them is going to give us the output. However, because we have this 0.5 multiplier, the actual maths for this becomes the multiplier, 0.5, multiplied by the amount of assemblers, let's say A, divided by the time taken to create the recipe, is going to give us our output, so our output amount of science, right, per second. So say we want 1 science per second output, so that's 0.5 multiplied by A, the number of assemblers, divided by 5, right, which is the time taken to craft the science pack, is going to give us our 1 per second output of science, which means we have to solve for A, and solving for A will get us 10. So this means that we need 10 assemblers running at this speed to get a consistent 1 automation science pack per second. Alrighty, so we need 10 assemblers, which is not going to be too difficult. And what this also means is that we're going to need, because we're producing at 1 every second, we're going to need the ingredients at 1 per second. So we're going to need 1 copper plate every second and 1 iron gear wheel every second, which is not going to be too difficult to do. We'll just look at the recipe for the iron gear wheels now. Now the iron gear wheels, you need 2 iron plates, and it takes 0.5 seconds to craft 1 iron gear wheel. Now we need 1 every second, takes 0.5 seconds to make one. All we need is 1 machine. So that's going to be it really. It's pretty simple. So what I'll do is I'll just place down the necessary assembly machines, and then we will plug it all in and it'll be good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have made the executive decision, in fact, that the biters are much more of a pest than I had originally judged them to be. Hence, we will now create a defense system that will destroy them as they try to approach us in tremendous fashion, and it will be absolutely amazing. Okay, so that's how this is going to happen, because I'm sick of having to run everywhere and deal with these damn biters. They're very annoying. Very annoying. Now, Light Arm's dead. You're dead. You both... Okay, great. First things first, what I would like to do is automate some ammunition for our gun turrets. Now, the gun turrets themselves don't necessarily need to be automated because they do take a lot, and I'm happy to just handcraft them. That's okay. What I want to do is automate ammunition and walls. So we'll start with ammunition. I keep getting interrupted. Very annoying. We're going to take the iron off the belt and put it into an assembly machine. You know what? Because I'm mega levels of genius right now, I'm going to put it into 2, because then we get more. And I get the feeling that the biters are going to be a very significant threat. So we'll just quickly slap together this right now. As we can see, we look at the recipe. All it takes is 4 iron plates, and it makes 1 every second. Now, this is going to be pretty intensive on our iron plate consumption, but I feel like for now, we really just want to boost the production of it. So we'll just run a line there. And that's good. That's this sort of taken care of. In the meantime, before we connect it to any sort of turret system, I'll just put it in a box like so. That is ammunition manufacturing ticked off the list, at least temporarily. Very crude setup that we've got going there, but I feel like it is very, very necessary. Now, next up, what we want is to have some brick manufacturing and then walls. So I think I'll go for a very crude setup again. What we'll have, I think, is just going to be sort of very similar to this, except I only want a few. Where's that happening? Oh no, oh no. sequence there, you saw what was probably, I don't know, maybe half an hour or an hour of building random stuff. So we have a wall now. It took a while to wait for that wall to be finished and making all these turrets. But I've got a wall that essentially borders most of the base, as you can see on this white line here. There's large gaps up here because the process up north is slow. We need to expand that. I'll quickly run you through a few things. As you can see, we've got turrets lining the walls and they're grabbing ammunition. Well, it's not really here at the moment, from this belt. And I'll show you. We've got a bit of a carousel system. So up here you can see we've got the assembling machines, which is saying low power. That's interesting. Need to get on the power. Probably do that next episode. But yes, we've got the assembling machines making ammunition, and then that's just dropping onto this belt here, which, as you can see, is being able to be collected from any of these guns. These will, of course, power themselves once we connect up this science production here. Over here, I've created some inefficiencies using a bunch of splitters, but it's fine. So that same sort of story applies there. As you can see, I've also put some increased defenses, like this whole entire wall section around these miners, because that's what's making the walls, so I figure that's probably quite important. Coming down here, we can see again this carousel system flows behind all these turrets and allows the ammunition to be basically automatically will refill. Oh, here we go. Let's test the system out now. Perfect opportunity. Beautiful. Swift justice is enacted. Now, as you can see, they do damage the wall a little bit, so we'll either have to sort of double strength it or just repair it every now and then, or use more turrets. But it's a lot better than them just overwhelming the defenses and destroying everything, because that was getting very annoying. So this should give us some peace of mind. Now, if you look down there on the bottom right, you can see there's a big horde actually starting to accumulate, and they are getting ready to attack us, which will be interesting. So I want to quickly show you this radar sort of station that's set up here that we've built. And essentially what the radar does, it does a couple of things. Number one, it allows a certain radius around the radar to be sort of inspected on the map, and you can see what's happening in this. Whereas if you go over here, you see no matter how much I zoom, it's just these pixels that are indicating of what's there. But in here, if I zoom in, I can see in detail this is one of the biter nests. As you can see, this is what we need to destroy, and that might be next episode, it might be the episode after, we'll see. Oh, had some action up here. And the second thing that the radar does is it will scan periodically around the map and will reveal more sections, so we can see maybe if there's more ore or any oil. We'll need that soon-ish, not now, but soon-ish. Or biter nests, etc., etc., which will be quite interesting. Now, as you can see, this carousel is starting to fill up. Of course, these are reloading, which is perfect. It's exactly what I built this for. But eventually, it will get to a point where it'll just be full of ammunition, and there'll be plenty to take from it, which will be really good. However, eventually, yeah, we'll need to deal with these biter nests and remove them once their attacks become overwhelming. So that's that. So what I'll do is I'll put some more radars down, probably in the next episode once we've sorted out our power, because these guys draw a lot of power, as you can see as we open up the electric and network information. They're drawing steady 200 kilowatts per one radar, as opposed to 1.4 megawatts per 27 electric mining drills here. So as you can see, they draw quite a lot, and we're not actually producing enough to satisfy the entire network. So that'll be something we'll have to do in next episode, fix our power. But in the meantime, I would like to plug in all of this red science and we can sort of get that going, and that'll be really nice to have that done, and then we can consider that accomplished. So we'll just put an output belt, and I'll have that coming down here and feeding to the left that way. And then we can put some electric poles down. Just like so. And then connect up the copper here. And what I'm doing with these splitters is just sort of, it evens, it's not perfectly even, but it sort of evens out the distribution on these belts. So it doesn't just take from one belt, which is better, because then you've got much more organized and even spread of belts. So it becomes a lot easier down the line to manage your materials and resources. So that's pretty good. So you see here we've got, I have to actually build that one real quick. So you can see here we have, I might want to put that to double speed actually. We've got the iron plate coming into this machine, making these gear wheels, these iron gear wheels, and that is moving up the line, and eventually it will get to all of these assembly machines, and we'll be producing our target science per minute, which is really good. We should see 60. If when we hit P, we can see our production statistics. And if we look at science, currently we're making 12 per minute as it slowly creeps up the line. We won't hit that full 60 until we deal with our power, but again, that will happen next episode. But then, we should have full red science automation, which will be really good, which means we can start to research things like our weapons shooting speed, steel, electronics, which will be quite useful. We can get some better power poles, some better inserters, start to research fluid and all that stuff. Optics lights are pretty useful, which would be good for the rest of the playthrough. And so it really starts to open up our options here, and then eventually we'll start to do green science and unlock all of the amazing things that will give us, which is great. So I hope that you've all enjoyed, but that's all I have time for today. So if you have any sort of questions or things that you want to see in the next episode, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you've all enjoyed and have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.